October is recognized as Cybersecurity Awareness Month to raise awareness about digital security and encouraging customers to protect personal data. Here to help is top risk expert and senior vice president for Visa, Doria Ferrante. Welcome, Doria. How are you?
Doing very well. Thank you.
Good. Let's talk about the latest cybersecurity trends and frauds that are out there threatening people.
Great, thanks. And unfortunately, cybersecurity risk and fraud remain an industry top risk for both businesses and individuals, because the reality is, where there's money and reward to be had, there's always going to be crime and bad actors. And I'll give you some key stats to really drive this home. 95% of successful cyber attacks are still due to human error, meaning we're clicking the link, we're downloading the attachments. A third of data breaches all start and originate with phishing emails, and 51% of phishing emails have malware links, which have a variety of catastrophic damages to both businesses and individuals. So these numbers are too high, and it's Cybersecurity Awareness Month, which is going to let us to educate people to really bring those down.
And what are some of the latest threats that we're seeing for consumers?
I would say one of the biggest threats is what we call social engineering, and that's just a fancy word for trickery. You're being tricked via email, or someone's calling you, maybe they're texting you, and they're pretending to be someone that they're not. They're either pretending to be a legitimate business or a key contact of yours, and they're asking for money or personal information. And all of these things are highly avoidable if you're just aware of the red flags and the signs. And what we really encourage people to do is pause and think before you click, and make sure you do a little bit of diligence to understand who you're dealing with. We say gone are the days of trust but verify, and rather now you've got to verify to be able to trust.
Yeah, and that's so important. And let's talk about how COVID and the pandemic really has heightened the potential of financial fraud.
Yeah, what COVID did is it thrust us into digital overnight. You had the world shutting down, and if you wanted to get your groceries and your life-saving medicine and even attend school, you had to be on the internet. Well, the internet is the playland for cyber criminals, and that's where they hunt. And so we exponentially increased the population who might have not been on the internet yet to the internet, and they might not necessarily be aware of some of these scams and the ways that criminals target us. So we increased the targets really during the pandemic, and that's just really how that risk level went up.
All right, and what are some of the safety measures for digital payments?
I would definitely say there's a lot of red flags that we want everybody to be aware of. One, you've got to be aware of urgent, scary, anxious, time-bound emails. If someone is reaching out to you, telling you to do something fast, the likelihood of it being not legitimate is very high. You also want to pay attention to the emails that come into you that are spelling mistakes, they're sloppy, they're telling you missed a package, your trip is canceled, etc. There's a lot of red flags there. In addition, keep your password like it's your crown jewel. You've got to make sure that you're not giving your user ID, your password to anyone. No legitimate business is going to reach out to you for your password. And make sure it's a strong password and that you change it often. And the other thing I'll just say is never contact the details that you get from a suspicious email, text, or voicemail. You're just calling the bad actors. Make sure that you do your own research on the internet away from that email and that contact details, so you don't land right in their world.
Got it. Let's talk about some of the common scams that are out there.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's two ways to be scammed. You can either land in their world, or they can come and find you. Them coming to find us is very common, and that's, again, suspicious emails, text messages, voicemails. I have a number of them every single day. You just have to be vigilant and not click them. Just avoid them, delete them. The other thing is landing in their world. So there are pop-up sites that they purchase, and they'll trick you with the names, and they'll replace an O with a 0, or they'll maybe put an extra L in there that the human eye can't really see. So make sure you're not landing on a bad actor fake site. Do your diligence, look at the web address, make sure you're really where you think you should be, because these criminals are incredibly sophisticated, they're technologically savvy, and again, the human eye sometimes misses these things unless you pause.
Yeah, and you talked about, of course, the scams going on. Very quickly, what are they doing about, of course, improving cybersecurity?
Yeah, so improving cybersecurity, let me address that two ways. One is business, the other is personal. This is what Visa does best, right? We're a global technology, always-on company. We invest an incredible amount of money in the technology, the tools. We use artificial intelligence to detect anomalies. We also place a premium on domain expertise. We have amazing cybersecurity professionals as well as risk management teams that have to pay attention to the evolving threats. These threats are not static, they change over time. And then on the personal side, it's training and education. 78% of people who get an email unsolicited still click them. That number is way too high. And the way that we get that to come down is by awareness, education, talking to you today. All of us should phone a friend and make sure that the people in our lives that we love understand the warning signs and what they can do to protect themselves.
Got it. This is so important information, especially as we go into the holiday shopping. So where can people find more information?
Absolutely. Now, Visa.com and Visa.com/security has a number of resources available to both individuals and businesses. We have safe shopping tips as well. And, if you visit that, just always, the one thing that I'll tell you is you can't trust and then verify. You have to verify and then trust. And if you do that and you pause before you click, I think that'll keep people very safe.
I like that. Very important, as we said, with the holiday season. Thank you, Doria, for joining us this morning.
Thank you.